Good afternoon and welcome to today's edition of NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold for this Tuesday, the 20th day of October in the year of our Lord 2020. It seems no matter how much bad information is brought up about the demono-rats, they keep going. Today's headline is Democrats creating new rule for Supreme nominees based on how they might vote. From WND comes this one. The court would become subject to raw and brutal politics at its very worst. Democrats are creating a new rule for confirming Supreme Court nominees based on how lawmakers think he or she might vote, writes George Washington law professor Jonathan Turley. Calling it the Barrett Rule, he says it would allow not only for the packing of a court, but the packing of the court with guaranteed ideological drones. It is court packing without any pretense. Like our current politics, it would finally strip away any nuance or nicety. The court, like Congress, would become subject to raw and brutal politics at its very worst, Turley writes on his website. As the Senate Judiciary Committee interviewed Judge Amy Coney Barrett this week, there were a host of legitimate questions to be raised. But the thrust of the entire hearing was that Barrett was unqualified due to her expected vote on the upcoming case on the Affordable Care Act, or the ACA. Various senators directly stated that they would vote against Barrett to protect the ACA. That is what is so unnerving about the Barrett confirmation hearings, he writes. Barrett's confirmation hearing could easily have been mistaken for a sentencing hearing for John Wayne Gacy. Surrounding Barrett were huge pictures of sick individuals. One would think that Barrett was being confronted with the faces of all her victims. In reality, the pictures perfectly captured a far more important message. Senators had finally broken free from any pretense of principle in reviewing the qualifications of a nominee. Indeed, many are about to create a new rule, the Barrett Rule, allowing conditional confirmation voting. The pictures were meant to pressure Barrett to either satisfy senators that she would vote against an Affordable Care Act challenge, or they would vote against her confirmation. Turley argues the Constitution allows senators to vote for or against a candidate for any reason or no reason at all. But in the past, a lack of qualifications often has been the reason for opposition. This year, Democratic members have struggled with changing rationales for voting against Barrett, who has impeccable credentials as an accomplished academic and respected jurist. He notes that Senator Chris Coons, Democrat of Delaware, said on Fox News Sunday that the nomination constitutes court packing. But that's factually absurd, Turley contends. Court packing is the expansion of the court to create a dominant ideological majority, he points out. That left senators with a rare moment of clarity. Senator Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey, in his notes announced that he would vote against Barrett even before hearing her because she might vote against the ACA. We have now reached the Rubicon of confirmation politics. 33 years after the Robert Bork hearing, senators are now stripping away any pretense or nuance. They will oppose Barrett because of her expected votes on cases, he writes. In particular, Democrats have been arguing that they will vote against Barrett to prevent her from voting on a pending case, California versus Texas, dealing with the constitutionality of the ACA. Senator Mazie K. Hirano, Democrat of Hawaii, announced recently that she would vote against Barrett because she will vote to strike down the Affordable Care Act. Now, that isn't a reason for doing this, but that's what they're doing. Senate Democrats, he writes, have invoked the right to vote against a nominee on the basis of her expected vote on this impending case. And now to remove the liberal blindfold here, folks, one of the things the demono-rats have wrong is the idea of packing the court. They are saying that what Trump is doing is packing the court because he isn't waiting for the election to push for the nominee to be confirmed. The trouble is, it is Trump's constitutional duty to try to fill the vacancy, because that is what the Constitution says. The Democrats keep going back to 2016 and the nominee that Obama had had that was turned down for the court as a reason for not getting that vote because the Senate was a different party than the president. But the Senate had every right to turn that one down, and it was figured that they would turn him down because the Senate was Republican and the president wasn't. He was Obama, a Democrat. The Democrats want it to be postponed now till after the election because the Senate and the president are one and the same party, and that would make the confirmation more likely to happen. And the demonorats who have had control of the Supreme Court for decades now don't want to lose that supremacy. They are falling back on Ruth Bader Ginsburg's final wish to hold off till the election, which brings us to the other point. They think that with this coming election in just a few weeks, that they will be the winners of the election, and Biden will be the one in the White House, not Trump. But just because all the liberal polls out there say that he is winning, I seriously doubt that that will happen. All you have to do is look at the rallies that the two of them have to see the polls are totally wrong. Trump has thousands at his rallies, and they are energetic and full of enthusiasm, while Biden has about 20, and they look like death warmed up, then cooled down again. So the idea that Biden will win this coming election, 0 to zilch are the odds, so we must start preparing ourselves for the massive cheating that the Democrats are going to pull on us. If we are ready for that, it probably won't succeed, and Biden-Harris will go back to being citizens only, with that faraway look of wishing they were the ones in the White House, not Trump. Thank you all for watching, my patriotic friends, and I will see you all again tomorrow. And as a friend of mine used to always say, we will not be ruled, and we have to stop allowing this to be done, because that is what the left wants, to rule over us. This is Robert the Infidel giving today's update. NWCR's Removing the Liberal Blindfold is brought to you through Conservative Nation Media, where America always wins. Have a blessed day.